first announcement is we have pizza and treats and water and candy and things. Please, the pizzas were donated. Actually, it's back. But it's through Extraordinary Kids Therapy. But yeah, please take part in all of those things over there. Feel free to walk back.
Let's get it now.
Yeah, go for it.
Still hungry?
Yeah, please eat it. There's also, I think everybody or the majority of people signed in. There is a sign-in sheet on the table back there as well as agendas. You guys can all sign in that agenda too if you don't feel like you can't. But thank you for coming to the first SSELAC meeting of the school year. My name is Kristen Riccadelli. I am the chair. Amanda Fafford is the co-chair, and Diana LeBlanc is our fabulous secretary who takes amazing notes. Being the first meeting of the year, we do have 2 speakers tonight, but our first order is that we have to approve our minutes from last year. So we're going to do that, and then we'll get right into our presentation. So Diana, you're first.
So our meeting was on May 31st last year. Decoding Dyslexia came and we had an in-depth discussion about dyslexia. All the full notes and video playback is on the district website and SSELAC's Google website. We spoke about recent events, positivity showcase, next year meetings, board's plans for the summer, school committee meetings, and appointing a school committee liaison. And then we continue to current discussion and end the meeting.
We all through? 3, thanks. Ready? Yeah. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Glowa. I'm from RIPIN. I am the Communications and Community Engagement Manager there. Before RIPIN, I joined RIPIN in January. Before that, I was a special educator for a couple of years. I did some subbing in the Perch, store seat. And before that, I was in corporate marketing and communications for 20 years. So I had this kind of varied experience, but it led me to RIPIN, and I feel like I'm home and I love it so much. And I'm excited to share what we are about and what we do and the service and support that we can offer to you and your families. So I'm going to get into a little bit about who we are, and I'm sure many of you might know RIPIN for the special education support and services, but there's much more beyond that I think as caregivers, it's helpful to understand in terms of healthcare and healthy aging, because you have probably loved ones in your life that could benefit from those supports as well. So we are an independent 501c3 nonprofit. We are located in Warwick. Our agency is comprised of peer professionals, which I'll get into in a couple of slides. Sorry that this is so small. We tried to connect to the big screen, but it didn't work. So I'm just going to use this as talking points. Speak with you. Moving right along. Okay. So like I said, we help people navigate healthcare, special education, and healthy aging. And our agency is comprised of peer professionals, which means that's really what makes RIPIN unique. Most of the people that come to work at RIPIN are people that have lived experience through these complicated systems of care, and they feel this deep commitment to give back to other people and help them understand, to help them navigate those systems of care. So when you call our call center, you're likely to get somebody on the line that has been through special education or health insurance debacles or a variety of other complicated systems. So they offer that same level of empathy, or that level of empathy that really helps with, making you feel heard and understood. More than 3/4 of our staff are peers. So like I said, the likelihood that you'll get somebody on the line is high. I think I'm hitting a button while I'm standing here holding it. My apologies. So this is a wonderful picture that looks so nice and big, but these are actually 2 of our staff members, one with her daughter Kelly and one with her son Andrew. They're on our Family Voices team, and they're peers. So let's go down to all the slides that I didn't need, that I just created accidentally. So again, we're located centrally in Warwick. We're right on Jefferson Boulevard. That's where our office is, but we're a hybrid team. So some of us work remotely from home, and others are embedded throughout the state at various sites. So you can find us in early intervention centers, you can find us in hospitals. There's a number of community health workers that are out there in the community. And at doing things like this, reaching community members, attending events, having a table set up to help people understand the services, the support that we offer. So on that note, how we help. We help any Rhode Islander from infants to seniors, so really across the lifespan. And like I said, you probably have heard of RIPIN for the special education services. That's how we were founded. But we've extended that the support to offer people health insurance assistance, care management. So if you're looking for supports and an older person in your life and making sure that they can thrive at home, we're helping connect to the different resources that exist for those areas as well. So really from early intervention from birth to the elderly. And we work with clients side by side. So when you call RIPIN and you have a question or you need something, you get assigned a person that's your person and your go-to, and you can really lean on them for the questions and things that you might be working through. So in terms of healthcare, we help people understand what healthcare options are out there for them, help them understand their eligibility. If there's any like bill disputes or you're like, I shouldn't be getting charged for this, or I don't understand, they'll work directly with you and help you through that process. We have access to wellness programs. So there's a program in RIPIN that's dedicated to really bringing adult populations from 18 plus access to wellness programs like chronic pain self-management, tools for healthy living, healthy eating for older adults, diabetes prevention. There's a range of classes that this team, the Community Health Network team, goes out into different community sites. So they'll work with local senior centers or rec centers, libraries, and arrange workshops to be held in different communities throughout the state. So they really try to offer these wellness classes around the state to reach as many people as they can. And it's important to note that because as a caregiver or care provider, you need to be taking care of yourself. It's certainly important for me to stand up here and tell you the services that we can offer for your children, but it's equally important for you to be caring for yourself. So in terms of special education, which I think the best testimony for the services and support that we offer in special education is probably a testimony from somebody like Kristen, who calls us back to this meeting every year because she understands the support that we offer. But we have a team, it's a parent training information center, and they are federally designated team for Rhode Island that works with parents and caregivers to help them understand everything from the IEP process, 504 process, knowing your rights. So it can be overwhelming when you're sitting at that table with the special ed team and you're trying to trust and understand everything they're saying, and there's acronyms, and learning to advocate for yourself and knowing your rights is a really important part of that process. So we do a lot to help educate caregivers in that way, from working with you one-on-one on the phone and through specific circumstances or scenarios, to hosting a number of workshops and training opportunities that bring together a group. And like I'm going to share one that we have tomorrow. It's around parental rights. So just helping to make sure that you know as much as you can and you feel empowered sitting at that table and being the best advocate you can be for your student. And they will do that K through 12 and in transition services too. So for anyone that has children that are headed out of high school soon, that's another support that RIPIN can offer. We also have a new program. It's our self-directed support program. They are helping educate Rhode Islanders on the supports that are available for those that choose to self-direct, which is a really helpful resource. They're working with the Paul V. Sherlock Center and BHDDH to help bring more awareness to Rhode Islanders about the services that exist for that. In terms of healthy aging, so again, I talked about the access to wellness classes. So making sure that people are up and moving and eating healthy, and diabetes prevention, all of those types of things, as well as, helping clarify dual eligibility for Medicaid, Medicare, participants, helping arrange care. So like the care management team helps, make sure that people can thrive in their home. Our hospital transition team make sure that people who are coming home from the hospital, elderly or adults, have the supports that they need at home. We try to keep people out of skilled nursing facilities as much as possible, and making sure that they get the support at home is part of that. So again, maybe not relevant for tonight or this topic, but I'm sure somebody in your life, there's something happening with somebody in your life that might be a useful thing for you at some point. And then, so we've got a number of resources on our website, and I love to go through and do that. It's much more fun when we're on a big screen, but I'll try to give you some pointers, because there is a whole resource center. If you're looking for something specific documentation wise, or trying to understand a specific policy or whatnot, we've got this really extensive resource library that you can type in a keyword and it brings up the relevant documents or sites or sources for that particular topic. And we also have a pretty extensive webinar library. So as I mentioned, we're doing a lot of these webinars and workshops on a regular basis. We had one last night, we have one tomorrow night, there's several next week. And we want to, we understand it's not always possible to make it, so we record them and make them available on our website and on our YouTube channel. And I'll point you to that in a second too. But there's everything that we cover is there's a webinar for basically. And upcoming events. So on that note, our calendar on our website is really up to date. It has everything that is going on, ripin.org/calendar. You can register for events right through there. Just go to the calendar and there's little clicks and registration links. We offer support groups for families of children and youth with special health care needs in both English and Spanish. We do those once a month. The English one is the third Wednesday of the month. It meets in both the afternoon and the evenings, whatever works better for you. It's virtual. It's a really amazing group. I joined on Wednesday last week, and the vulnerability, transparency, and safeness that I felt there was like something real. It's just it's a special group of people facilitated by two peers who have our lived experience and going through a lot of the same experiences as the participants. So it's a really great group. Highly recommend. And it's offered in Spanish as well. I brought a couple of handouts. So this is our our fall workshop calendar. If you scan the QR code, it leads to our calendar, so you could scan that and find the links to registration there. I also have this digitally, and I can share it with Kristen if she wants to distribute it to the group. The links are active that way. And I also have QR codes in here if you're interested. I did also bring the support group flyers. So in English and Spanish, there's more information on this QR code. Tomorrow night, we have our parental rights in the Rhode Island Special Education Workshop from our PTIC team. Awesome duo presenting tomorrow night, where they'll walk you through the basics of anything from like the referral process to dispute resolution. They walk through a number of the basics. There's time for questions. It's a great opportunity. Highly recommend. This is the registration link right here. I can leave this up, or again, I think I shared the links with you to that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and email.
Yeah.
Diana's been sharing a lot to our Facebook page.
Okay. All right. So there's that, and then October kicks off National Bullying Prevention Month. So we are hosting a bullying and harassment of students with disabilities workshop on October 18th, which is Unity Day. So we'll be in orange and helping people to understand the need to protect this protected class of individuals during Bullying Awareness Month. That's also the registration link. And then in terms of the self-directed program that I briefly spoke about, our newest program, they are doing workshops, it seems like every other week. To help families understand those different resources that are out there, so it feels like they're doing like a bit of catch up right now, but resourceful if you're in that space. We have, there's newsletters, this is the link to register for our newsletters. My hope was that it was gonna be on a screen and you could scan, so this is ad-libbing. But the news, we're not spammy, we send only necessary relevant information about all of these type of things, workshops and opportunities, information from around the state that might be useful. There's a subscription button right on our website. CHN classes, those chronic pain tools for healthy living, that's that. Our on-demand webinars, resource library. So I'll just jump onto the website real quick. I know it's hard to see and I apologize. But maybe. So this is our beautiful little website. And we rebranded this year. We were formerly known as Rhode Island Parent Information Network, because our roots in 1991 were around parents, a group of parents that got together to navigate special education. And they figured out that there was a value in the work that they did and sharing that with others. And that's how that peer model started. Like they figured it out and they're like, hey, I can help you with this. And that kind of like grassroots grew. And then they recognized that that was applicable to other complicated systems of care, like healthcare and healthy aging. So they applied that same methodology, and our scope of people that we support is much beyond parents. It's individuals, families, caregivers, parents. So we're now just RIPIN, which is the whole RIPIN.
So does it stand for anything now?
No.
That's what I've always said.
We're just call us RIPIN. Because it is kind of exclusive if you call us Rhode Island Parent Information Network, because we're helping more than parents.
Right.
And depending on the family, it might not be a parent who is working with a student, right? So I think that's part of like the inclusivity of it.
That's good to know.
Yeah, right. It's like they likened it to CBS. Does anyone know what CBS stands for? We don't call it CBS. I mean, we don't call it by that anymore. Consumer something. Value store, but no one calls it CBS. I mean, we're not CBS. That's my idea. So on here, you can see on the top, there's a calendar button, and it takes you to takes you to our calendar, which has, you can probably just see the colors on here. The colors indicate there's an event. You click it open, and it'll take you to a description of the event and a registration page if it's something that we're listing. We have the RIPIN webinars.
They can sync their calendar with your calendar too, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right hand corner, there's a plus Google Calendar.
Yeah.
But if you look on your Google Calendar, go back to your Google Calendar, in the bottom right hand corner, is there a plus Google? Because then people can just click on that and sync your calendar to theirs. Back in that little calendar.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just showing us. And then all the way on the bottom, right?
Yeah, subscribe. There's a subscribe button.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can,
And then
if
it'll
you
just
so
pop
desire.
up.
There's a lot of stuff on there. I don't know if you want to muddy your calendar with that. We're busy. But the on-demand webinar area, it's a library. It's categorized by the different areas of support that we offer. There's lots of great videos in there. Everything from IEP to 504 to parental rights, skills for effective parent advocacy, Medicaid 101, a range. And then our resource library, I think is the last thing that I wanted to show you, which is completely searchable. So if I wanted to look up like procedural safeguards, click in here, just hit search, and it brings up any of the results that pertain to that particular topic. So we're adding to this, building this constantly as we get wind of new resources, whether we develop it or it's from a state partner or federal partner. We continue to add and build out our library. So I think that is it in a nutshell. The last one that I brought, some postcards. This is we call this like the yellow pages of support for families of children with special healthcare needs. it's like this really comprehensive document that includes any resource you could possibly need that's clickable. So scanning this will get you to that document. So I have a couple of handouts here that you can grab if you so desire. And that's it. That's right then. So you can feel free to our contact information. You can find it right on our website. You can call 270-0101. That's our call center number. We have a 48-hour policy, so you leave a message and somebody will get back to you within 48 hours. There's also info at RIPIN or call center at RIPIN.org. So thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm really excited to see Gwen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wherever you are comfortable.
Right here.
Yeah, there with you. Okay.
All right.
I'll
go
stay
over?
right here. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Gwendolyn Clavitt, and I'm a freshman at Smithfield High School. Over the years, I found a passion, and I'm here today to share my story. Growing up, I've always loved supporting my peers with disabilities, either being their buddy on a sports team, simply being their friend, or helping them academically. My first experience with working with children with disabilities was at Anna McCabe Elementary School. I was introduced to so many things that brought me to where I am today. From a very young age, I was introduced to my peers as a buddy. My job was to help guide them through their preschool year and be friends with them. Though this seems insignificant, and many other kids did the same as me, this experience was unique to my story for a number of reasons. This opened my eyes to all the unique challenges that these students face on a daily basis, many of which struggled to communicate how they felt, which often made it hard for them to be friends. Simply being a friend to them changed their whole life, but then being my friend changed my outlook on life. When I entered middle school, I had a gym class with the IEC students. Little did I know that 7th grade gym would change my life. One day, we had an open gym with many different stations and activities to do, and I saw one of the IEC students by herself. I went up to her and knew that being her friend was a priority of mine. I worked every day for weeks after that gym class to get her to warm up to me and be comfortable around me, because it was important to me that she had someone to call her friend. I will never forget the day after being told that this student struggled with making friends. It broke my heart, but just a few gym classes later, she told me I was her best friend. That moment is when I knew that working with children with disabilities was meant for me. From that point on, I knew that I made a new best friend. Though many people told me how important it was for her, it changed my life just as much as it changed hers. I asked my new friend's teacher if she could ask for her mom's phone number, because I knew that truly being her friend was both inside and outside of the school building, and I wanted to be there for her through more than just school, gym, and classroom visits. This led to me hanging out with her on a regular basis and doing fun activities together, to me being her buddy for multiple unified sport teams. It is a privilege to be her friend and to get to be a part of her story, as she's a huge part of mine. From that gym class on, I daily visits to the IC classroom, which were filled with laughs, smiles, hugs, and positivity. I worked hard to build a relationship with every single student and make sure they felt welcome and had at least one person to call their friend. I had days where going into school was the last thing I wanted to do, but remembering I had gym class first period with the kids, or that I could go down during interventions to their classroom, truly motivated me and changed my mindset. Even on their bad days, they still find a way to make me smile. I think the majority of the students in my grade can all agree, working with the kids has become almost my whole personality. My life has changed for the better since we all became friends, and I truly need this. I can't express it enough. These kids changed my life in so many ways, and I truly believe I am the person I am today because of them. Since these kids have changed my life, I decided I needed to do something that would change theirs. With that being said, I'm the founder and board chair of my nonprofit organization, Ability Bridge Foundation. Ability Bridge Foundation is a youth-run nonprofit organization run by myself and 3 other students, Erica Kersko, and Elijah Barrows, who is a freshman, and then my sister Mallory Clavitt, who's a junior. We are working to end the stigma surrounding disabilities, spread inclusion, positivity, and support to the special needs community. Any donations and funds we receive will be allocated through the Smithfield School Committee, as well as families in need that have children with disabilities. We will be hosting events to spread inclusion through the town, as well as spreading positive information to help the community be more inclusive to everybody. We have our first fundraising event on Saturday, October 14th
which will be a unified field day taking place at Deerfield Park. This event is for everyone and will have a variety of activities adapted to all needs. People often ask me why I decided to start a nonprofit. And the main reason is my number one goal is to make a difference in the community, make sure every kid is heard and included. We saw things as students that we do need to be changed, so we took action. I'm a strong believer that if others see us lead by example, they will follow, and the community will come together to create a safer space for our friends and families, both inside and outside the school building. This journey has been amazing, and we couldn't thank everyone enough for their support we have received. There are two people I'd like to mention who have encouraged my journey, Mrs. Bernardin and Mrs. Jacob. They've made such an impact on not only the students, but also myself and my peers. They are both great role models and are one of the reasons I'm here today. They've helped me find my passion and supported it every step of the way. They have been a tremendous help to us, and we couldn't thank them enough. If you know someone who is trying to start their own nonprofit or support a cause, tell them to do it. You never know if something will work out until you try. Someone once told me, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And I believe if you advocate together, work hard, and never give up, you will change the world. Thank you so much, SSELAC, for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. May my dreams come true and my story.
Does anyone have any questions for Mike? You were all. And how can we help?
So we are looking for volunteers for our first event, which is on October 14th. We have a bunch of student volunteers, but we're also looking for adult volunteers that can help run like the sign-in table, and we just, it's good to have some adults there, of course. So we're looking for, and spread the word. So we're looking for 4 to 5 adult volunteers. So if anyone's interested.
What is that at Deerfield?
Yes, there's some parts on October. No, 12th.
Was that donations or anything of that sort?
So, yeah, so it's gonna be online. We have our social medias. I forgot to print out our flyer with our social medias. But I can write that down, so if anyone wants that, I can give that to you. So we can't take donations here today, but that's all online, so, and we'll be accepting donations at our first event. Thank you.
When we're so proud of you.
Yeah.
It's so awesome to say you're from Smithfield and you're doing it. So be proud of yourself and I'm sure your peers and everybody. Thanks for starting. Anybody else? Any other comments? Questions?
We're excited for the event. You're going to share a flyer with us?
Yes.
So that we can put it out to the families?
Yes.
That would be great.
Will it be posted on this Smithfield High School website and
Yeah, probably all
the
the
town?
websites.
Yeah, we're gonna help her blast it out through all the
Thank
schools.
you.
And it will be on our Facebook page as well. So anything they're sharing, you'll see on us, and we're gonna help filter kind of.
That will be amazing,
Yes.
yes. I think it's on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
right?
It is, but we're gonna help, push through the schools as well, through those emails.
Is the buddy program still a formal thing at first now that the pre-K is there?
The buddy program, what do you need?
Well, so, we mentioned in your presentation, which is not insignificant at all. The 5th graders get to be peer buddies in with the pre-K classrooms. Is that still happening out in Perch?
Yeah, it's not just the pre-K classrooms, it's pre-K to 5. Because we have students with intensive needs throughout all the grade levels. And so it's every Thursday morning, there's open gym, just like Gwen described. And the 5th graders really are the student leaders, but it's the grade level buddies who are coming in with the kids. And so that they're just there having fun with their peers in the gym, playing different games and learning different activities. Yeah, so it's super powerful.
Yeah.
And the
very, very
preschool program, as you know, it's buddies, it's students with identified needs in the classroom together. That's why I think where you indicated that's where you started, which is awesome.
Any other? If not, we'll move on.
I'm gonna skip out before we move on. I gotta get my son.
Thank you very much. So last year at the end of the year, Amanda, Diana, and I actually watched a RIPIN training of SELAC and kind of things that we should be doing and how to, I'm sure I should say, I know people get like, where is she? Just to kind of, take the SELAC to the next level. We got our name out there last year. We did some events. People kind of recognize our logo now. So how do we start making the change and the difference that we have been really wanting to push forward? And the first thing was to make actual goals for the school year. So over the summer, we came up with goals, 3 of us together. We met with Eileen and we decided that these are what we're gonna do, they're gonna work. So super fast, they are very lengthy. They are posted on our Google website. So if you guys don't know what that is, it is on our Facebook page. But we have 3 main goals. The first one does have 2 subparts. So it's about increasing communication. The first one is about education with all Smithfield families. So starting next month, we're going to be kind of working with Eileen to send out an email to all families, kind of like, what are the awarenesses happening this month? What are SELAC events this month? What meetings do we have kind of going on? That she'll be able to blast to everybody because we don't have access to all the families in the district. But that way too, that, we want more of the families being able to see Eileen and not kind of scared to talk to her so much. Like know that she, to email her, and because there's some questions that we get asked that we can't answer. We can help to some degree, but it goes back to her a lot of times. If it's already at that level, obviously it's the teacher and the principal and moving up that way. So the first one is doing that and having it go through her with that email and making it, publicized for all families, not just the special ed families. The second part of the communication is having more meetings, the 3 of us, with Eileen, with Dr. Bartz, and with the principals within the district to make sure that we're all on board. We're all here for the same goal of just making things better, making everything inclusive, getting rid of the word inclusion somehow, because I know kind of everyone's goal right now is to find a better word for it. But just having more open communication between the admins and us. So those are the 2 goals that we have for communication between admins and us and just all the families in the district as a whole. Our second goal is compiling parent-driven data. So we're going to try to do that in 3 different ways. We do have a questionnaire that is completely anonymous, that is through Google Forms. It is on our Facebook page. It is on our website. You can find it if you scan our QR code. They're very basic questions about special education in the district, but they are specific to that family that's answering it. Again, it's completely anonymous. We do have an option if families want us to reach out to them, we can, but we have no idea who's writing what. So it's, anything they want. The second one is we're going to be doing surveys. We don't have one for this meeting, but just various meetings or places that we are that are basically just having parents circle yes or no to questions like, do you understand the policy and procedure or the safeguards? Yes or no? Like, do you understand your IEP? Yes or no? Like very not getting to the nitty gritty, but just kind of overall broad things that we're trying to figure out what parents actually do and do not, or caregivers, guardians understand about special education. Since a lot of people we're finding out actually do not understand their child's IEPs, and they're very anxious when walking into a meeting or getting a phone call or an email because they don't get it. And, they're asking us, how does this happen? Where is the data? So we're going to get our own data to kind of help bridge that and figure out, okay, obviously admins and a lot of us in here, we work with this all the time, we understand it, but there's so many people that don't, that sometimes we forget to break it down. So where can we kind of meet in the middle? And then the third part is that we're going to start having parent-only meetings, which are super laid back, like hangouts. They'll be every other month instead of a formal meeting like this. They'll be at Greenville Public Library in their conference room, and it will just literally be hanging out. There will be no agendas, no recordings, no Zoom calls, just kind of parents who want to meet other parents, talk to other parents, because I feel like, and I know a lot of people have also said it, you know, sometimes you just don't know the other parents of the kids in your classroom, and you don't know that someone else is dealing with something that you have or has already been through it. You know, obviously this is my boy and he's been through different things, but you know, people might not realize, oh, he's in 5th grade. You probably dealt with, you know, preschool, kindergarten already. Maybe, you know, there is that insight. So it's just to get people together in a different forum, in a laid back, without the kiddos, just kind of hang out. And then our last goal is we really want to assist in the continuous care plans of all students. You know, 504s and IEPs, it doesn't matter how in-depth or not their needs are. And this is from the bus all through everyone they are with all day till they get back on the bus and get home. So one of the things that everybody saw last year, but it was more prevalent this year, was the bus form that got sent home. And that is voluntary, obviously, but all of that information gets filled out and the bus staff have it in a binder so they know the kiddos that they have on their bus. What we are now working on and have to work with Eileen on is getting all the information in the classroom on the student, whether, so that if a sub comes in, everything is there, but making sure that parents have involvement in it. So we'll be working on formulating a sheet, not like the bus form, but similar to the bus form that parents can voluntarily fill out and submit back to kind of assist in all of those things. Anybody have questions on the goals?
I do have a question about that. I'm actually a teacher, so I shouldn't be asking this question. But when I'm out, I'm thinking of the substitute, because the subbing for me has rights to know. I list like a snapshot of needs. And is that okay? Yeah, not the IEP. Like I have a substitute folder with.
Right.
Which is great, yeah, not
That's
every.
Like with the evacuation plan or fire drill, but
Right.
I also do a snapshot of the kids' needs.
Because you are.
No, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
When you
It's
said that-
it's no breaking confidentiality.
Yeah.
It's
When
for
you said the
educational
parents have
reason,
to
and
fill
so
out-
It's
substitutes are educational.
because we
Yeah.
can't say you have to make teachers do this.
Oh,
We're taking it, saying, this is what we would like teachers to do. We understand they're doing a lot, we understand there's a lot of kids. So how as parents can we assist? We're not saying it's gonna be all of us, because we're not in the classroom with our
no,
kids,
no,
so.
no, I
Yeah.
understand that. When you were saying that, you know, I understand like the
Yeah.
parents fill out the form for the buses, but teachers fill out forms
Exactly.
for their
Yeah.
substitutes.
Teachers already do
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Not, well, we've heard not all teachers do that, so that's why we brought it up, like where we've had instances where a kiddo has a substitute and the substitute, you know, the kid has a hidden disability and the substitute automatically assumes, or the substitute might not be, we don't always have the most educated substitutes in special education, so it's hard with a lot of that. But yeah, so just to give the substitute like, hey, heads up, so and so might not be able to read, so when you're, you know, they don't have access to their IEP for confidential reasons, so it's tough in a lot of situations, but just knowing sensitivity, don't call on little Johnny to read out because.
Well, and
You
I
know.
think part of that is, so I'm a principal of an elementary school here in Smithfield. And part of that is I have regular, amazing subs who I would trust with that information. But then I have subs who I've never met before,
Right.
who are coming into
Right.
a room, and I don't want them to have
Right, and
that.
that's the
document,
piece
have
that,
and
why
that's
we
what,
would say
that's
that
what I was
parents would
asking
fill it
about,
out.
like legally.
Well, no,
Right.
I'm not saying that because I want the teacher to do it, right? We already have
Right.
that. We have student snapshots that we share with people.
Right.
But it might be me knowing that person and doing a verbal check-in that I don't necessarily, I don't want them walking out of the building with that piece of paper.
Right.
Can I guarantee
Yeah.
that they're not?
I think
Because
that's, yeah. I
my
think that's-
regular amazing subs, I
Yeah,
trust with
something
everything.
we had talked about with Eileen was if we were able to figure it out, was keeping everything in somewhere in an office space that was locked up.
Yes. it would
Unless it
just
was
be given and
absolute-
have to be
Right,
returned.
and that was part of it, but
The emergency stuff.
right,
Yes.
but that part of the goal is like, of all of the goals and all of the subsets, that is the part that we're still trying to figure out all the logistics. That will probably be something that we're working all year on. Versus, you know, we already have the bus forms, like that part is already done. And some parts of the other goals are already in the works and happening. It's just that one is, there's a lot, obviously a lot of logistics that have to be figured out.
Yeah, and
Because every school is
mindset of
different
my
too.
One school, and so we already have the student snapshots created. It's a matter of me printing them, giving them to the secretary, and then saying, like, to that particular sub, we can give those.
And probably
then make sure
parent
we get them
approving
back.
based on
Right. And
stuff too, right? Because then it gets tricky too, to your part of thinking, because we have a lot of parents that
Yeah,
sub in our building,
what I
so
mean.
knowing,
Yeah.
like, do you want your neighbor to know
Well,
about your
every
kid?
person who is a sub
Yeah.
has to sign that confidentiality
Right,
agreement, so
right.
they know.
But still, it gets like,
Great
yeah.
confidentiality, but
Yeah, it gets tricky.
And obviously we learned that a sub who's only there a few days get, you know, not really much access, but if they're long-term, then that's when they
Right,
get.
like
all
the
their-
snapshot goes to the day-to-day subs, but if it were a long-term sub
Yeah,
in
then they would
for
have
a
the
period of
full
time, then they would
Right.
get access to the entire record.
Right.
I think the part that seems a little disconnected is that schools think it's happening more than it's happening. Because there's been a lot of parents that have shared concerns that it's not happening. So like, how do we better bridge? You know, without the confidential piece
Right.
that's shared, how do we
And-
bring more awareness that it's not happening?
and I think we would have to dig deeper into that to see, is it not happening at a particular school, at a particular level, with a particular teacher? Is there, dig into that to find
So I
out
can-
why?
And
Okay.
take an example of like, what snapshot do you give? Like,
Right.
if we
Right.
had, you
You
know,
could
and
see
make
that
that
generic
consistent.
Came up with like,
But as like being SELAC, like we're parent based, so as at being our goal is why we want it to be parent based. Just like the point, like we could have had the bus staff from like last year write a form about the kids for this year. Because they've had them, but that doesn't give some of the background that like, hey, they might be acting like this at school, but or on the bus, but just so you know, there are these other little things and tricks, and of course, some of you guys, like, you're with the kids all the time for X amount of years, you know them, you know their little triggers and stuff, but this boy's trigger is one specific word. And it is a word that should never be said in the classroom, but for some reason, it has been said because it wasn't written down that it couldn't be said. And I got a note, I've gotten notes home being like, yep, he had a tough day. Unfortunately, the word was said. Somebody was helping in the classroom. And like, again, there's so many
Right, there's so many things,
staff.
I know. Yeah.
So it's just like having that, hey, you might be not thinking of that because his trigger word is a home word, like it's a cleaning word. So it's like not something that happens in a school building. His staff has had him this is their 3rd year. They know that, but a new person, not even thinking, would be like, oh, like,
Because
what
we're
did I
with other
do? kind
kids
of
in
thing.
that same
Right,
space.
he's like, are you gonna say it? And he prompts people, and that's the other part, is like, when we first got here, he was prompting Amanda to say the word, like hardcore prompting her. So, again, it's not that there's a lot of logistics for that piece of the goals, but we want the parents to feel involved in it because it is coming from us. It does have us on it. We're parent based. We're trying to get that bridge. And,
I'd feel
everybody on
more
the same
comfortable
page.
if it was parent information too, even it, because then I know the parents are okay with what.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is we put a spot stating like they have to sign off on data and it says I give consent and all of the things. So, and again, that's logistics that nothing gets approved and goes out to anybody until Eileen and Dr. Bart to like, okay, this is okay. So it definitely will be our first draft that you see. For sure. Okay. Oh, I guess I don't know how to do numbers on this thing, huh? I gotta do too many times. All right, next is the positivity showcase. Diana, that's all you, I think.
So, the positivity showcase, last one was Julie Ready in June. We have September and October locked in. if you guys don't know, it's basically nominating, anybody nominating that works for the Smithfield School Department who brings positivity to any child in the district, and anybody can nominate anybody, basically. So we have September and October locked in. But we are looking for parents to meet and discuss nominees virtually with the board. So we have a committee sign up in the back. So we're gonna present. We're gonna read out basically 7 of them, because right now we have 16. And I wanna push it out more, but the more I push it out, I'm getting a ton of them. So we want to, I think we're thinking maybe November we'll have 2, maybe December have another 2. Just so we can kind of get ahead of the people that we want. We want everybody to receive the if they got nominated, we want to give them the recognition. So if anybody is interested in being part of that committee, we have a sign up sheet in the back. And for the September and October nominees, we're following the timestamp that it came in. So it's not that we're skipping, it's not that we haven't timestamped through the Google Doc. And October will be the first month that we have to. So,
And they each got multiple
They have multiple.
nominations, which is why we want to make sure that they both get something.
Yeah.
because one had 2 and
the
another
other
one had 3.
3. So they'll be the first ones to get it. And then from there, then we'll just go to the committee and discuss it. So then it's kind of fair and everybody can kind of put their own 2 cents in.
But
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying you're
push-
gonna recognize each person who is,
We're gonna try, yeah. That's why we're gonna push 2, because
try to keep it smaller, so you can do that,
Yeah.
especially if you have 16 right now. That's
right,
awesome.
it's a lot. And anybody have any businesses that like in town that want to be part of, like, I have a business that is donating candles for some of the gifts, and so if anybody knows anything, just reach out to me for that. But besides that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, when I start pushing it out, I'm gonna put it on the website, so anybody who knows anybody, please sign them up. And I might ask Dr. Parts to put it in a newsletter, the next newsletter. Any other questions or anything?
Okay. Events that we have coming up that are exciting. Fridays are Unified Day. Everybody better be in green. Send all of the pictures our way, whether you're tagging us on Facebook or emailing it to us. We love showing everybody off. If you guys were at the color run last year, you saw the album worth of pictures that were posted. So that's really exciting. I know that La Perche had an assembly yesterday about a bunch of unified and inclusivity things, and Pleasant View is doing an assembly on Friday with Unified Day. I'm not sure what the other schools are doing, but I know every school kind of does their own thing because everybody's on their own schedules. But great, spread the word, share our posts. Monthly, we have our sensory time with arts and crafts, which is at East Smithfield Public Library. We had that at the beginning of the month. Next month, we are actually canceling it because we are going to support Ability Bridges Unified Field Day because they were happening on the same day at the same time. So we're canceling our event to support their event since it's their big first fundraiser. We want to be there for them. But we are also starting play dates, which will be at Greenville Public Library every month. And those are for, again, everybody, but it's just a hangout for the kids. We'll bring a bunch of sensory things, toys. The library said that we could use some of their stuff that they also have there. So we're just trying different, some kids don't like arts and crafts, they just want to play. So we're trying it in both libraries, so we're all over the town. Really? We have our first sponsored basic first aid and CPR class on October 15th. It is full, but we want people to keep registering because we are getting a second class started. Because it filled up a lot faster than we expected, which is awesome. And it varies from students to parents, there's staff, everybody is gonna be there, and I'm super pumped for it. Then December 2nd is our Santa and Mrs. Claus event, which is our big fall event that we have. It is in the cafeteria here. we have Santa and Mrs. Claus, they take pictures, a professional photographer comes in, she edits pictures for free. There's arts and crafts things, there's Christmas music, we have sensory bins, letters to Santa. And Greenville Library will send letters back to the children from Santa. So they were really awesome last year when I showed up with like 50 envelopes. They were like, it's gonna take us a bit. I was like, I'm fine, but they made sure to get a letter out to every single family that came. So that was really cool. And then May 4th, we locked in for the color run at Deerfield, and
The rain date is May 5th. This year we have the trails, and then we also have the soccer field. So last year there was, it changed. So it changed based on the trail, but this year, we're trying to go with it. So each year, increase it. So yeah, looking forward to that. So. Feel free to set up.
we had a committee, we did like.
May 4th or May 5th is, right.
And we would like committees for Santa and Color Run as well. So the committee sign up sheet back there is for the Positivity Showcase, Santa and Color Run. Because obviously there's a lot of the Positivity Showcase, but Santa and Color Run are really, really big events, and we would love lots of help. Even if it's just, you know, I can volunteer time, whether it be before or after. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun, and you know, everybody talks about it for days after, so it's super fun.
The color run, I think we had a little over 300 people, and that was the first year, so I anticipate it's probably gonna be even bigger, because I had a lot of people messaging like, oh, what time? It's going to 9 to 12.
What just the run?
Yeah. Yep. And we get all different vendors, so whoever didn't come, we had Tech Access there, we had the Sherlock Center came, right?
Yes.
We'll get more now. I think people just wanted to feel it out, to be like, what is this color run? And then
You had a lot of emails after that. People were like, oh, if we knew it was that, we would definitely would have.
so I think this year will be bigger.
It was raining.
No,
we had perfect.
Yes,
yeah,
it was so nice.
Yeah.
We lucked out. It was warm.
yeah, it was warm. It was great.
So you get more people suggesting the setup and breakdown.
Yeah, we had like carrying tables on our heads through the
And the old, like, really big
tables on our heads.
It was so bad.
And then after we realized we could put a truck through it, so that was another day. Completely after, like, oh, let's put it out. But yeah, I mean, even including the schools, and it could be something potential this year. That was like last year's idea of having each school kind of contribute something to it. Now that we know kind of how it's running, they might be here that just, you know, we kind of.
And we had council help. They were.
Yeah, your council is a big help, yeah.
Having some of those teams carry the stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
right,
a team be on setup. a team
That would be
on
great, yeah,
cleanup,
that would be
yes.
great. And even peer buddies too, I know. Yeah, okay, so yeah, peer buddies coming to just support one another. I know the middle school had a great bunch that came. And then one of my sons saw friends and they walked through with it. It was great. So seeing that and having families come and support together would be awesome. The next thing that we put out at open house is the student ambassadors, and kind of getting students to get the word out about SELAC and be ambassadors, and have for the elementary levels, it'll look a little different. Where parent will sign up their elementary school child, and we could set up potential, just like peer play dates or peer support, or just getting different friends, you know, making friends for all kids and all abilities. And then as it gets to middle school and high school, an ambassador would probably come to our meetings and sit in and find out what's going on, our events are happening, and spread the word in the school, and also spread the inclusive message, which was something we're gonna hope to bring up, and because it's important, very important. And then have with.
Okay, so school committee, we had some notes in May that we had gotten furniture from Cardi's for the ISD classroom at the high school. So we had to go to the school committee meeting in July and just get it approved. It was very funny because I was asked where the furniture was, and I said already in the building. No, but so the classroom here it's chairs, a couch, a dining room table, chairs, and a buffet. So they got, that was all donated by parties, which was pretty awesome. We also were hoping to get on the August student school committee agenda to go over what our goals were this year, so they had it. But we were unable to, so we are still working on that. But we will be getting over.
Did the new playground ever come to Deerfield? Wasn't? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, the table isn't there yet,
Yeah.
so, super cool, they used Gabriel's picture. And it's not there yet,
Oh.
I keep asking because they want him there, and I'm like, I kind of need to know. Like,
Right.
you can give me a heads up, it's happening. But yeah, it'll be cool.
Eileen, you got anything?
Update, so there's an updated. No, I mean, I just want to echo, the committee works really hard, throughout the year, and, we have meetings, and so we try to set, goals, and, like they said, like, if you have questions, like, reach out to me, and, I'm not scary. But definitely, I think the beginning of the year has gone really well. We have a lot of new staff, both teachers and paras, and I've been in classrooms and in buildings, and everybody seems to, be adjusting. And if you haven't been able to make it to an open house to meet, those people that are working with your child, feel free to call and make an appointment, like can we have a meeting? Like, I just want to touch base, see how, the adjustment to the new year is going. So that, that option always exists for you, even if, you couldn't, make it to the open house. That's all I really have right now.
I think another thing too, I think, is that a lot of staff have met for an inclusion committee, so I think it's awesome to see the staff that gave their time for this committee and are dedicated to making it feel better and making it more inclusive for all kids. So kudos to everybody who went to that meeting, who plans to go to the meeting, who wants to, for the staff, because it's tough being a teacher all day and then having to go to all these meetings. So thank you for whoever went, and we'll continue to go.
Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing to see like what happens in each building that might be separate, what happens, and it doesn't necessarily get advertised, but things do happen every day that are really, really neat. So.
I mean, actually, one of the things this year that was new at Pleasant View, was the day before school started. A lot of the kids were invited in to see the classrooms, to see the teachers, and it made such a huge difference. My son, who typically has a lot of anxiety on first day, we had a chance to get in there and see all that, and the drop off Tuesday was night and day from previous years. So I think, like, I don't know if other schools do that. I'm really glad that was something new that we did this year. But I think there's probably a lot of kids that can benefit from that experience.
And like, I know the same thing for Gracie got to go see Love Merch early, and it was just, even for me, it's like, all right, I know where you're going. It's just peace of mind so it does make a difference for the schools that are open to it. It's a huge, not only for the kid, but for the parents, peace of mind, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely that week before school, the middle school and high school typically has guidance back in, principals are back in. So, if anybody needed kind of that individual tour or visit, reach out to me, reach out to the principal, and we can arrange that.
And then just some other updates that I had on things that I've personally been discussing with admins. One of the ISE classrooms in La Perche has had a broken window, and that is finally getting fixed on October 3rd. So that is super exciting. And then the ISE classroom at Gallagher was moved from one room to another. And I've had many parents reach out to me about just a lot of different questions about why there was the move and things that happened. So during open house, I went and looked at it myself. And so I have reached out to those who can answer those questions, and I will give responses when I have them. But those are just a lot of, I've been getting a lot of things about, the window at the Perch, and then this move in the classroom. He's not at the middle school yet. I don't have anyone at the middle school, so It was something that, because it was being brought to my attention so much that I went and looked during the Yeah, I will,
Okay. The
that
window is,
classroom, I
the
get
window,
asked
yeah,
about.
exists, it definitely, someone was mowing the lawn and a rock popped up and. What's that called, spider web, you know, it has been for a while, but it's a fully functioning window, so I'm very think that. All the bees are getting in, and the bugs are getting in, no, we need to get it replaced, it's been ordered, it's just a little bit of a pain to get it done, but.
Right, and I know, Kristen emailed me about the ISC room at the middle school, and so that room has always been the ISC room. Last year, we actually had two because of, the size of, the classroom, we needed to split students, but they did go between the two rooms. So that room has historically been, ISC, and it's equipped with, you know, stove and washer dryer and, you know, refrigerator, so it's designed, it used to be a multiple neck room actually, and when they transferred it into a classroom, they left one of the stations, so kids could engage in the daily living activities.
Any questions, any comments, any ideas?
Thoughts on anything you heard tonight?
I think Gwen and her friends was
You don't even have a name.
But you could say that speech for your senior or contest.
Yeah.
But.
I feel like senior project's gonna be done.
Yeah. How many kids started nonprofit?
I see women too.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. We have our, parent meeting next month, it's October 18th at 6 o'clock at Greenville Public Library, and our